Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today I got a hot one for you. We're going to be showing you the most used and top 5 open field hero PvP pairings, and I always have to give an asterisk, right, with Fragor and Syndron only being available in Season 1+. The reason I wanted to put this together is because for some of you know, I very much enjoy doing data collection, but I also enjoy being able to compile data and then present it to you in a very easily digestible way where you can find it educational and hopefully informative to take something away from it where you're actually learning. And you're gaining knowledge, you're gaining experience, and then you're feeling comfortable enough being able to do it on your own. So you're not just kind of, falling into the copy pasta type style, which is one of the reasons why you don't often see me doing kind of hero guides or tier lists or, hey, here's BN's top 5 hero pairings as an example. It doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with it. My view is just always, I don't mind sharing my opinion and telling you what I think is good, but I also like being able to provide some data behind it so you can see why pairings are being chosen the most, why are players gravitating towards those. And so the data that you're going to see here was actually taken and compiled, or I should say compiled and provided to me, where I went out and I asked 800 players from 4 kingdoms that were on the top 200 leaderboard for personal merits, which essentially is your PvP leaderboard. And these are from kingdoms SSS 1-7-8, which is kingdoms 1 through 10, so the first 10 kingdoms in the game, and then also from -10 and -11, which are the 2 strongest merged kingdoms based on power, which is comprised of, and I think I have it here, 31, 33, 39, 40, and then 32, 34, 46, and 48. And so I reached out and I messaged them, and I ended up getting 109 replies out of the 800 messages. And so I obviously want to give a huge shout out to every single one of you that took time to reply. I also individually replied and messaged everyone that did take the time to reply. So I very much appreciate it. And the only reason I didn't include people's names on this one is because I forgot to make a mention in there where I said, hey, if you don't want your name to be included, just let me know. So then that way I could have gone ahead and included the name there. But hopefully next time I will remember, at least when it comes to this specific type of video and data collected. So now, and then also the big question I'm sure I'm going to get, which is, hey boss, are you going to make this sheet available? Yes, I will make this sheet available to the public. It does say public there in brackets, but I'm going to make this available 24 hours after the video releases. It'll be edited and added into the pinned comment/description down below. And so I think that's probably all the good stuff I really need to get out of the way. Let's dive in. So we're going to go through, I'm going to kind of give you a breakdown of each of the columns. We're going to show you the top 5 pairings, and then I'm also going to kind of highlight some of the unique identifiers on why and how, I don't want to say easy, but how you can go about figuring this is why a pairing works, as an example. And then I'm also going to show you some summary stats here at the very bottom of this. So I'm not going to go through everything here because this is a lot, but I am going to kind of slowly go through top down after I go through these columns. So bear with me. Let's start left to right. Power. The reason why power I have is because I think power is relevant to the pairings that you may see, or I should say that you will see at times when it comes to, well, hey, why is maybe an elite hero being worked in? Or hey, why is someone only running 3 or 2 or 1 hero pairing, or why does it feel like maybe they're trying something different? Sometimes it just depends on their power level when it comes to, well, what heroes do they actually have fully maxed to run? Maybe they don't have specific heroes maxed, so that's factoring in. Maybe they don't have certain heroes unlocked because maybe they're more free to play, as an example. But if they're higher powered, that just kind of shows you how long they've been playing for. So there is some reasons and some variance on why I wanted to include that, and so I hope it kind of helps add an extra layer. Then we have their 5 hero pairings, left to right. So as an example, Van Walder, left is primary, right is secondary. This is in no particular order. They just kind of sent me these, and then I just kind of copied and added them in, I should say. And the reasons and feedback column is probably the one I'm most proud about because, and obviously this is a huge shout out to the players that took time to give me feedback. This is pretty much verbatim, right? I want to say this is 99.9% just word for word. All I did was copy paste and just did a little bit of formatting and then kind of edited, some words here and there. But outside of that, this is what it is. And I love this column so much because to me, this really showcases the players themselves, giving you an insight, an explanation into why are they running pairs specifically, and why are they favoring them, right? What stands out, or what's their justification, right? What's their reason for running these pairs that they are? And so I think this is a great educational POV into as we said, why they're running them, but it allows for you to hopefully gain some knowledge and maybe even gain some experience in looking at this kind of almost like a class, if you will, right? On, why are we running certain pairings that we are from players that fight a lot and or kind of the most or heaviest fighters in the game, so to speak. And again, that's kind of loose because, we only did it from the Four Kingdoms. But I hope that this helps for those of you, and I can tell you I've read every single one of these, even though I can't probably instantly recall things from them. I have gone through and I read all these, and I hope that you will find them enjoyable or as equally as interesting as I did to hopefully help you along your PvP journey and allow for you to eventually become more comfortable in not only identifying pairings, but testing and trying pairings. So that way it doesn't just become, as I mentioned before earlier, kind of a copy pasta type thing, right? So this is kind of to show you where the meta is currently from, I would say a decently sized sample pool. And so anyways, with all that being said, let's get down to the lovely stats and we'll kind of show you the goods here, right? So here we go. On our summaries, we have 109 entries, as I mentioned, out of 800. Total amount of pairs that were submitted, and this is just because we didn't have 5 for each, because if we did, we'd be at 545, right? So we're at 474. I think that's right. Right, 5, 109, 545. It is. Okay, good. I'm okay at math still. Contributing kingdoms, as I mentioned, SSS 1-7, -8, -10, and -11. Now, the power range here, and this is for players that submitted responses to me, goes from 12.6 million to 158.4 million. I'm also using the conservative threshold for T5 at around 43.5 mil, even though, yes, I understand that if you bare bones it, you can get it lower than that. This is just also factoring in other upgrades and things that are being done along the way, where it just is not always going to be a bare bones situation. So for that reason, we have 25 players that are essentially T5 that submitted responses. So again, a little less than 25%. Then we get to the individual pairs, the number of appearances, and what's their frequency percentage based on the 109 entries or the 109 players that submitted. So at the top, and purple is essentially for each role type, right? So you have your mage, we got Madeline Nika for infantry, Bakshi Emrys Cav, Kanara Nico for marksman, and then Atheist Thea for flying. Or celestial / so here we have Lilia Veln as the highest pair, 42.2% being used. And then we have Madeline Nika as the second at 38.53%, Bakshi Emrys at 33%, 36 appearances. You also have the opposite, which is Emrys Bakshi, and that's going to be interesting. I'm really curious for those of you that run Bakshi Emrys or Emrys Bakshi. I would love to know what is your reasoning behind why you specifically run Bakshi primary or Emrys primary, because I've heard it a few different ways, and you'll probably hear it in some of the when you read it in some of the feedback and reasonings, right, 24 hours after the video is released. But I would love to know, right? So let me know in the comments down below if you just think for whatever, like you're just, oh, it's Emrys all day, every day, or no, Bakshi just wrecks Emrys. Like I would just be very curious to hear from you as far as some additional thoughts on that. And then we get to Kanara Nico, which is 17.43%. And then we have Nico Kanara, which is the opposite, is 17 times used. Again, there, same thing. I really would love to know your justifications there, what the reasonings or explanations are for why you feel Kanara or Nico should be ran primary. And then we get to the last one that we're going to touch on, which is Atheist Thea. And you can see here being ran 16, making 16 appearances, being ran for almost 14.7% time. And I'll kind of show you, I only went so far because I really wanted to kind of highlight the top stats and specifically the ones for each role type. But some of these are still pretty interesting. I think some that potentially, I mean, Madeline Garwood is an example, right? Kind of if you're thinking about, just a full infantry, like full tank, right? Being ran almost 13.8% of the time. Veln, right? Even though you can see kind of the opposite for Lilia. Like, it's interesting here. You can see people really favor Lilia Veln over Veln Lilia, which is being used 3 more times than Veln is as primary. So again, I really just enjoy the data here. And Sindri and Freygar, right? Kind of making, and I think this one was actually supposed to be Freygar Sindrian, is what I think. I don't know why I put that there like that. We'll just edit that, at least I think. Yeah, let's go there. Sindrian for some reason, and I'm iffy on that one, but I'm just going to put that there because I just feel that makes more sense at the moment. Anyways, with that being said, let's move over to the top 5 pairs, and these are top 5 pairs based on roles, and I'm just going to give you a simple kind of breakdown, and we kind of highlighted what we think, and I'm not going to give you all of what I would consider to be the highlight differences because that might take a while for when you do a real big deep dive, but I'm going to kind of show you at face value what are some of the differences per each, and then just speak on that a little bit. So let's look at the first pairing, which is Lilia Veln. And the things that I highlighted here in orange are what I find to be some of the standout points on why you would specifically run this pair, right? Not only are they both range of very far, but you can see here damage, right? This is AoE, damage once to the target legion and up to 2 surrounding legions. When you look at Val, damage to the target and 2 surrounding legions. So again, very AoE heavy hero comp on why you would be running this, along with having good damage factors at 1200 a pop, right? Obviously one also factoring in with probability for Scorch, the other one obviously doing freeze for Veln, but you can see there's some similarities there. Lilia Scorch, Veln freeze, there's some factors and some proccing that goes in there as well. Then we'll look at Madeline Nika, right, which was the next one here. Now, you can see, what are we highlighting? Well, we're highlighting counterattack damage, right? That's one of the big selling points for why you often see Madeline Nika, or arguably Nika Madeline, but in this case, obviously, we're going with what was kind of most used from the submissions, or the players submitted hero pairings. And then we get into Bakshi Emrys. Bakshi Emrys, right, what's one of the big things? Rage accumulation speed bonus, right? That's a big similarity they have in common, right? With one being able to go up to 30 and the other one being able to go up to 40%. So again, you're basically just seeing big skill procs super fast, right? And you can see here on rage accumulation, right, increasing their rage rate when entering the game, passion, increasing the rage accumulation by that. For that, this effect can be triggered once every 30 seconds. And then you have this one too as well, right, which is, where am I going? So increase attack. Right, and this is kind of a, I think this is an or. So you can either do the Ascension, which is increases attack and defense by 10%. You get Passion, increases rage accumulation by 10%. Or Spirit Siphon, right, every 10 seconds lasting for 5 seconds. So again, you kind of get the option. Doesn't mean that it's always going to be the case, but it just kind of shows you what some of those similarities and comparisons can be, along with them both having very high skill damage, right, for 1500 and 1400 at max. Then we get into Kanara Nico, right, for your marksman comp. And you're looking at target damage dealt reduction and then defense reduction, right? And now you can make the same thing for, additional attack damage, right? We're looking at attack bonus, attack speed, factoring in more to just general damage, normal attack damage, right? These are things that we can still factor. But when you're looking at target damage dealt reduction, which says on here, right? Hero, what do we have? Hero deals damage, right? And then decreasing all damage they deal, right? So you're reducing the amount of damage that the enemy's inflicting on you, while at the same time basically defense breaking them, where you can see here, which is reducing their defense, right? So you're kind of hitting it on both ends there, along, as we mentioned, with them having big skill damage factors, right, at 1400 apiece at max. And then we get to the last one here, which is Atheist and Thea, right, that we're seeing most used. And that may change. I think Syndrian definitely has been, Frager has definitely been coming in a lot more. And so we have also been seeing from what you saw there in some of the data points. I just don't think that there's been enough time to really max those heroes out to where we might see that. Maybe we'll see that in the next month. But here you can see damage taken reduction and hero skill damage taken reduction. So there's a little bit more of a kind of tanky approach or a resilient kind of sustain approach that you're taking with Atheist Thea, right? So again, just some factors. And I mean, you still get some rage gain, you get the shield factor and the HP bonus. I mean, there are some things that are also assisting, but I just liked these because I thought they were a little bit easier to highlight than maybe some of the other points that would take a little bit more time to explain. With that in mind, that is pretty much it for what I got for you guys this video. I would love to hear what you think on this. If you liked this video, if you'd like to see more of this on kind of a month to month to kind of show you what the meta is currently. I also have some other ways that I'm thinking about just basically improvements and more efficiencies to collect the data faster where it doesn't take as long. But again, if there's other things that you would like to see if I'm going out and doing this, and bear in mind, this probably took me like 2 days to do because I had to message everyone individually, had to wait for all the responses, had to do a little back and forth, and eventually after I felt like, okay, I got a lot of responses, plug all the data. But again, if there's anything else you'd like to see, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this, if you're taking something away from it, if you feel like, dude, this is like my holy Bible to running open field PvP, like give me more of this. I love being able to hear from the strongest fighters or from a lot of fighters that have just been doing it longer than I have to kind of get this insight into why they run what they run. I absolutely love this boss. Give me more. Whatever you may think, I'd love to hear in the comments below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.